A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I want A plus English, 'cause it's so much fun. English education for you and everyone, so come along. Learn some grammar, learn a phrase, learn something new every day. Learn the A plus way. Hey, it's time to start the show. Are you ready? Good, 'cause here we go. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I want A plus English.
Hello everyone, welcome to A Plus English. I'm Mike.
I'm Chickling.
And today, Chickling, we're going to talk about an animal with a very long neck. And no, I don't mean ballet dancers. Ballet dancers seem to have very long necks too. No, we're talking about an animal with a long neck. Probably the animal most people would think of when I say an animal with a long neck.
Giraffe.
Right? Or, yes, or if I said a very tall animal.
Giraffe.
Giraffe, exactly right. So let's talk about being tall, because clearly giraffes are very tall, although they have never made it into the NBA. So this is a waste. We should see more giraffes playing professional basketball. But speaking of NBA players, they are also, of course, very tall and much richer than giraffes. So our question is it always good to be tall? Why or why not?
Is it always good to be tall? Because I actually can't relate, because you're very tall.
No, I'm not very tall at all. I'm
compared to me.
Slightly above average. No, we're thinking like
very
more,
tall.
190 cm, 200 cm. You know, basketball player size. Would it always be good to be tall?
I don't think so. I think it has its downsides.
Yeah, what do you think would be one of the things that would make your life more difficult being so tall?
Maybe when you go on a plane, you have to squeeze yourself into that little space.
Very good idea. Very good suggestion. Yes, I saw a show about a guy who's a basketball player in Japan. And of course, he can't find a shower he fits in. Imagine every door you walk through your whole life.
You need to do this.
You need to duck down, finding a chair, a seat in a car, an airplane. I had a very tall friend in Canada. Mattresses, like that big cushion you sleep on, they can be very wide, right? Like king size, whatever. But they're always about the same length. So his feet would always be cold.
Right.
You know, I mean, you can buy one. I'm sure NBA guys buy a special mattress, but those are very expensive. So having cold feet in the winter in bed all the time. Oh, everyone's asking you, can you change that light bulb? Can you get that thing that's up there?
Get that thing for me.
All of that stuff. So I think it'd be good in some ways, but there are many ways that being tall would be not so much fun. And now it's time to turn our attention to people or animals who are always tall, the giraffe. Let's find out more about these wonderful, beautiful, and slightly strange animals.
What do you know about giraffes? Warm-up question. Is it always good to be tall? Why or why not?
Why is my tongue purple?
You ate grape candy. Actually, giraffes have purple tongues. The dark color stops the sun from burning them.
Really? I only know their tongues are 45 to 50 centimeters long.
Right. Their long tongues let them reach leaves on tall trees. They also clean their noses and ears with their tongues.
Neat. Do they only eat leaves on the trees?
Yes. Giraffes don't need to drink much water because they get it from leaves.
All right, so we're going to be exploring the world of giraffes and other tall things by hanging out with our good friends Ethan and Evelyn. They are always having interesting conversations about interesting things.
Yeah.
And this starts in a kind of interesting way. Well, not super interesting, but you'll see. Ethan is brushing his teeth. Okay, yeah, that's not super interesting. Hopefully you do that 2 or maybe even 3 times a day. But here's where it gets a little weird. Ethan says, "Why is my tongue purple?" I'm not a doctor, but that's not the normal tongue color.
Okay, so
Right.
我们一开始就知道 Ethan 在刷牙，然后他就说：“我的舌头怎么变紫色的？” Maybe he was using some kind of purple toothpaste.
Could be a purple toothpaste, a
Yeah.
purple drink.
Okay.
Right, or of
Grape
course,
juice.
purple food of some kind. Yeah, so we see in the picture there, Evelyn, she sees Ethan's weird purple tongue, because tongues are normally pink, right? If you don't brush your tongue, which you should, it might be kind of pinkish brown, but it should be kind of pink, right? Like most of, the parts of your body on the inside, especially. Evelyn says, "You ate grape candy." Of course, that must be it. You're sucking on a grape candy. The color goes in your tongue, like with a drink, too. Actually, Evelyn says, giraffes have purple tongues. Now we know how we get from there to giraffes.
Right.
Giraffes have purple tongues. That's very interesting. And here's an even more interesting reason why. The dark color stops the sun from burning them.
Oh,
Wow.
Okay, so
Yeah.
they have built-in sunblock.
Yeah, they have kind of built-in sun. They
That's
have
so
very
cool.
long tongues.
Yeah.
And of course, they use their tongues to kind of pull leaves, So
Right.
for them, a tongue is almost like a hand. But imagine using your tongue on a hot day so much you get sunburn.
Oh my
You
goodness.
get sun burn. Tongue sunburn.
It sounds like Korean.
It does kind of sound like tongue sunburn. Tongue burn. A sunburn on your tongue.
Evelyn 就说你刚刚吃葡萄糖果啊，当然是会变紫色的。所以其实长颈鹿的舌头是紫色的。I've always thought it was gray. I thought it was gray.
A giraffe's tongue?
Yeah.
Interesting.
It looks kind of grayish.
Well, I
to
know
me.
it's related to another weird animal called an okapi.
Okapi?
Which kind of looks like a horse and a deer and a zebra had a baby. And I think they have blue tongues.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe for the same reason why. All right. Well, if you could have one part of your body naturally protected from the sun, like the purple tongue of a giraffe, what would it be?
My skin?
Your skin? Well,
I
that's
don't
a
have-
lot. That's a lot.
I know. Maybe it's just my face.
The skin on your face, so
Yeah.
you don't get a suntan so easily.
Yeah.
Could save you money on makeup and
Yeah,
stuff. Right?
true.
So that could be good. But then again, when you go on a holiday to a beach, everyone would be like, "Oh my God, are you okay? You're so white." Because everyone would have a suntan and you would look like you're dying or something. But yeah, that could save you money for sure. All right, back to our article. Ethan, surprised by this fact that giraffes have blue tongues, or purple tongues, I should say. That's not that weird. But he does know something, not that normal, but he does know something weird about them as well. He says, "Really?" Which is what you say when you hear something surprising and new information. Really? I only know their tongues are 45 to 50 centimeters long.
That's very long. Like half a meter long.
That's crazy.
I know, it's
I
great.
think that's more surprising.
Would you like to have a tongue that long?
No, I have to stick it back in my mouth. Imagine eating soup.
I know,
Oh my
right?
God, it
You
would
do
be a nightmare.
I know, right?
Yeah, no, I don't want it. 30 centimeters is about a foot, right? So 45 to, that's about
That's
like this.
okay.
I mean, that's, of course, if we took our tongue out,
It's long.
It would be much longer,
Yeah.
right? When
But we don't normally
but
do that.
still, that's a crazy long tongue. All right, back to the article. Evan says, right, so she knows this. Not only do they have purple tongues, but they have purple big tongues. Right, she says, their long tongues let them reach leaves on tall trees. Yes, giraffes, of course, are big animals. They need to eat a lot. And they live in the grasslands of Africa, where there aren't really a lot of trees. And many trees have like thorns and spines and spiky bits. So they need those tongues to get kind of like with our fingers. They reach and get the best, the healthiest, tastiest leaves. They use those on tall trees. And they also clean their noses and ears with their tongues. The giraffe's head is like this big. Its ears are back. Yeah, it needs to kind of... I mean, imagine if you had to wash the back of your hair with your tongue.
That would
You
be
would need a
interesting.
really long tongue,
Yeah,
even
yeah.
just to lick your ears.
Oh, okay. Sounds
I
kind of
get
weird.
close. It's so far.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
所以呢，其实长颈鹿的这个舌头可以帮它们可以吃很高的树枝的叶子嘛，高的树木的叶子，而且还自己清理鼻子跟很多。But how can they see? I'm
With their
so
eyes?
curious.
What do you mean?
But how do they see the inside of their
Oh, they don't see it. I mean, you don't see the inside of your ears,
true.
right? You just kind of stick your finger in or whatever. Clean your ears carefully.
Okay.
So you don't need to see. You just do it by feel.
Okay.
There's other parts of your body you clean without seeing them too, but we won't talk about that. So next we see Ethan. He's trying hard. Don't do this, Ethan. He's trying hard to use his tongue to lick his nose. Okay, like giraffes. That's not great.
You definitely have tried that.
Me?
Doing that.
Not close. No, I use a tissue paper. Good Lord. All right, let's get back to our article. Ethan says, neat, cool, awesome. That's very interesting, neat. I like it. I'm happy to know this. And then he says, do they only eat leaves on the trees? Well, where else are you going to find leaves, Ethan?
On the ground.
On a lion? My gosh, no, that's called grass.
Oh, grass.
So they eat leaves on trees, maybe leaves on a bush too, right? Because I think he's thinking they're so tall. So would they actually, eat grass like a cow or a horse would, right? They don't bend down. She says, yes, giraffes don't need to drink much water because they get it from leaves. Of course, also about drinking. Again, the middle of Africa, not exactly a lot of big lakes and rivers around. So if they can get water and moisture from other things, that's good for them too.
How convenient. I wish I didn't have to drink that much water.
Well, just eat a lot of watermelon.
OK， 所以这边的 neat 有一种很妙的意思，不过也有很整洁的意思。所以其实长颈鹿不是很需要喝水，因为它们可以从这个叶子里面吃到它们需要的水分。
What about their long necks?
They use their necks and legs to fight predators and win mates. Believe it or not, giraffes only have 7 neck bones. That's the same number as humans.
All right, getting back to our lovely look at giraffes, these amazing animals. And Ethan asks a question about the most obvious and strange and also amazing thing about them. What about their long necks? They have very, very long necks. And of course, they are very unusual in animals to find a neck that long. So what do you think? Do you think having a long neck would be fun or no fun?
I would just probably break down. I think I would look very strange. I would feel very annoyed by it.
You would look strange, yes.
Imagine me having a long
Imagine your head kind of floating on this long neck. How do you think it would change your singing? That could be interesting. You might have a very low voice.
Right. And how would
if your neck is, I don't know.
How would I be able to eat?
That's a good question. I'm thinking, because I'm a guy, I'm thinking it would take me ages to shave. Right? Because you get all that down here and it would just stretch and stretch and stretch. Oh my God, I'd need a lawnmower to shave. But of course, yes, they have long necks. They don't shave, they don't sing. And the necks, of course, allow them to reach those leaves high on the trees, thus giving them good food. And it says they use their necks and legs to fight predators and win mates.
Oh, I've heard of this before. It's called necking.
It's called necking. They kind of bang necks. Yes, exactly. And you notice in the world of Africa, where lions and leopards are out there, they don't attack giraffes very often. They're big animals. They're hard to bring down. And they have those long, sharp, hooves, like the foot. I would not want to be kicked by a giraffe.
Oh my goodness, no.
That would be not a good thing. So lions usually look for easier food.
Right. 所以这个 predator 就是食肉动物，会吃这个长颈鹿。那 mate 就是配偶，这边是当名词。
Now, here's something actually quite amazing when you think about it. Evelyn has this fact. She says, believe it or not, you might say that when you're going to tell something that's true, but sounds like you made it up. But you're kind of saying, believe it or not. You should because it's true. Believe it or not, giraffes only have 7 neck bones. That's the same number as humans do.
Wow.
As humans.
So their bones must be
Isn't that
huge.
incredible? Yeah, the bones must be like 2-3 times the size of ours.
Oh my goodness.
But if you actually count them, from here up to your skull, there's 7 bones in there. One time I hurt my neck when I was in high school, and they did that thing where they stretch your neck. They did an X-ray.
Right.
And I didn't know this because the nurse said, wow, you have such a long neck like a giraffe.
Oh my goodness.
And I should have said to her, I have the same number of bones as a giraffe.
You should have done
and
that.
And she would have said, that's amazing. And I would have said, no, everyone does.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's quite impressive, isn't it? So whereas our neck bones might be, like this big each, theirs must be like that big each, but it's actually the same number.
That is so cool. I never knew this.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting.
所以其实长颈鹿的脖子有7块颈椎，跟我们一样哦。所以我们赶快看一下今天所有的单字吧。我们今天第一个单字是舌头 tongue。我们常常讲到你的母语就是 mother tongue。比如说 her mother tongue is French, but she also speaks English fluently。那我们再看另外一个句子，这边讲的是猫的舌头。Cats use their tongues to clean their bodies。猫是用它们的舌头去清理身体。那第二个单字呢是 reach， 这边指的是动词是伸长、触碰或去拿一件什么东西的意思。我们可以说达成目标，也可以用这个字。After years of hard work, he finally reached his goal of becoming a doctor. 那我们再看另外一个句子，这边是把手伸到桌子的另一端的意思。Polly reached across the table to get the salt. 所以 Polly 把她的手伸到桌子的另一边拿盐巴。那第三个单字我们看到 bone， 这个是骨头我们有讲到这个长颈鹿的颈椎跟我们人一样，就是只有七个颈椎。那我们常常会讲到从自行车比如说摔下来好了，你摔断了你的骨头，就是 break a bone。 或者是说呢很彻底的，我们也可以说 to the bone， 有时候我们会放在句子里面。那我们直接看另外一个句子， Molly fell and broke a small bone in her foot. Now she can't walk. Molly 因为跌倒，然后她的脚的一块小骨头断掉，所以现在没有办法走路。那最后呢，我们看到 human 这个字，那边是名词，是人类的意思。我们常常说人类的历史就是 human history。比如说 human history is full of incredible discoveries and innovations。那我们再看另外一个句子咯，这边指的是人类。So chocolate is a delicious treat for humans, but it's not safe for dogs. 巧克力对人类来说是很好吃的点心，不过对狗狗来说是不安全的。OK， 那我们赶快到今天的 Review Time
Activity。Review Time。
Hello everyone, we are back for a quick review time game. So we're going to have a little fun with the new words we learned today. Remember those words are tongue, reach, bone, and human.
OK，
Let's see, what game should we play here? Okay, we're going to play a game of opposites. Can we play opposites? Yeah, we can play opposites.
Okay.
We can play opposites. All right, we'll play opposites. Okay, yeah, we'll play opposites. Let's see, what can I think of? So I'm looking for an opposite word. Now, this works really well with adjectives, right? We always use those as examples: big, small, tall, short, expensive, cheap, things like that. But with nouns, it's a little trickier. We have 3 nouns out of 4. Let's start with a nice simple one. Bacteria. Single-celled organism.
Okay, I know this one is human.
Yeah, okay. Humans are very big animals, very complicated, very smart. A bacteria is like the smallest, simplest kind of life you can have. Okay, here's one. It's not an opposite, but muscle.
Okay. The softer part of our body.
Right.
So I think it's a bone.
Bone.
Bone, 所以不是骨头。
Exactly. And also, I mean, I was thinking more movement. Bones don't move. Muscles move. Bones are very solid and strong. So, you know, in the body, you can't really live without them. They kind of work together. They're sort of opposites, but they work together. In the same way, I will say teeth or tooth.
Tooth.
Yeah.
This is...
Tooth.
How is tooth the opposite of tongue?
Well, again, it's in your mouth, and well, your tongue is actually a muscle too. Okay. But think of it. Think of trying to eat without both of those things.
Oh, true.
Yeah, or trying to talk. Trying to talk without your teeth and your, or things like that. Yeah,
do we need our teeth in order to talk? Like in order to talk?
Well, yeah. I mean, you use form things. Lips as well. Lips, of course, more.
We will sound different with our teeth.
Yeah, I think we've done a pretty good job, so we can probably stop.
Okay, let's do it.
Thanks for joining us, guys. We're gonna have a lot more about giraffes tomorrow. When it's very exciting, Ethan will be eaten by a giraffe. First time it's ever happened. Yeah.
Okay.
A bloodthirsty hunting giraffe.
Can't
Come
wait.
back and join us for that. That's not true.
所以今天的节目到这边咯，如果想跟我们真人老师一对一线上讨论，欢迎加入我们的空中家教，拜拜。
Bye bye.